The Nationalism of the Avant-Garde, Futurism and the Cultural Elite. An excerpt from A History of Fascism, 1914 to 1945, by Stanley G. Payne. An important shift occurred immediately after 1900, when much of the cultural elite moved to a militant and violent nationalism. The cultural crisis of the fin de siècle had greater impact in Italy than in most other lands. Italian philosophers vied with those of Germany in leading the anti-positivist revolt on behalf of neo-idealism, while Italian social scientists and theorists such as Mosca, Pareto, and Scipio Segelli were international leaders of the new elitist and anti-parliamentary doctrines. Nowhere in the world were there more vehement opponents of bourgeois culture, liberalism, humanitarianism, and pacifism. The corollary of aggressive nationalism was held to be strong elite leadership and imperialism. The most prominent spokesmen for the new trend were the leaders of the Florentine avant-garde, Giovanni Papini and Giuseppe Prezzolini, together with the radical new nationalist writer Enrico Corradini and Italy's most popular poet, the sensuous neo-romantic Gabriele D'Annunzio, whose achievement is sometimes said to have been to make violence seem erotic. Papini and Prezzolini initiated the new modernist journal Leonardo in Florence, which hailed national genius and expansion. But their most important vehicle was the magazine La Voce, founded in 1908. Their Florentine modernism called for spiritual and cultural regeneration, proclaiming the need for a kind of secular religion. They preached elitism, war, the imperial ideal, and the importance of regenerative violence. Prezzolini advocated the need to love war, since violence is a moral cure. The literary nationalists condemned humanitarianism and the 19th century liberal fear of shedding blood, as well as the belief that mere life is sacred. The outbreak of the Russo-Japanese War in 1904 to 1905 thrilled some of them. D'Annunzio would say that never had the world been so ferocious. What was needed was a grand national enterprise. Even the sober Pareto lamented in 1904 that Italy, unlike Germany or France, had no real theory of authoritarianism or the police state. Mosca also supported war and imperialism, while Papini claimed that these were the only means of uniting Italy internally. In October 1913, he shrilled in the futurist journal La Serba, "The future needs blood. It needs human victims, butchery, internal war and foreign war, revolution and conquest. That is history. Blood is the wine of strong peoples. The blood is the oil for the wheels of this great machine which flies from the past to the future." Equally vehement were the voices of Italy's principal new contribution to the early 20th century artistic avant-garde, the Futurist movement developed by Filippo Marinetti. Futurism was absolutely neophiliac. It reflected the new mechanical and industrial Italy springing up in the north and rejected all past artistic canons, hailing novelty, speed, machines, and all the dramatic changes of the 20th century. Futurists presented both new content and a new style. Their theatrical productions were provocative happenings, their paintings full of factories, machines, dynamic moving parts, and symbols of the new acceleration of life. The Futurists were, in a sense, metaphysical motorcycle riders. Unlike the artistic avant-garde in some other countries, Italian Futurists were not mere individualists, but ardent nationalists. To them, Italy was historically the land of genius, and the great new Third Italy, after Rome and the Renaissance, should be led by a new elite of young geniuses, like they thought themselves, who would carry it to war, empire, and new national greatness. The Futurists were more given to radical and provocative manifestos than any other avant-garde group. And indeed, most historians of Italian Futurism agree that the series of 50-odd manifestos, published between 1909 and Italy's entrance into the war in 1915, were the movement's literary form par excellence. Their rhetoric was even more bloodthirsty than that of other nationalists. The original Futurist Manifesto of 1909 declared, 1. We want to sing the love of danger, the habit of energy and rashness. 2. The essential elements of our poetry will be courage, audacity, and revolt. 3. We want to exalt movements of aggression, feverish sleeplessness, the forced march, the perilous leap, the slap and the blow with the fist. 9. We want to glorify war, the only cure for the world, and militarism, patriotism, the destructive gesture of the anarchists, the beautiful ideas which kill, and contempt for women. 10. We want to demolish museums and libraries, fight morality, feminism, and all opportunist and utilitarian cowardice. Much of what became Italian fascism in 1919 could already be found in the Futurist Manifesto 10 years earlier.